Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Wait What? The podcast where the only thing that goes off the rails is a train of thought. I am your host, Ruben Martinez. Joining me today is Jonny Fadez. How you doing, Johnny?
Hey, how's it going? Was that recording?
Yeah, sorry, man. I should have kind of adjusted that better for you.
No, we're good. We're good. Yeah. So we're just enjoying Midsummer's Day
Yeah,
today. What is it? The
the
21st.
21st. And it's a hot one, man. Humid. Oh, shit. It's a humid one. We could just say it. How you doing, man?
Yeah. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I feel good.
Yeah.
It's been an interesting summer. I turned 40.
Oh, hey, congrats.
Thank you. My daughter turned 10.
Oh, nice.
So big milestone years for both of
Yeah.
us. Yeah.
Do you guys have like birthdays that separate or they kind of close or?
My birthday's in May and her birthday's in July.
Oh, okay. Nice. Did you do anything big for your 40?
Nah, not really, because I had already. So I had planned a trip in March to go to Baja,
Mhm.
and then I already had a trip planned in July for a family reunion in Mexico. So I didn't really make it a big deal for either both me or my daughter, even though it was a big deal, just because the expense was already going to happen.
Yeah,
So I gave myself a trip with my girlfriend in March.
nice. But that's what's up, man. And then turning 10, that's big. Yeah, you're right. Those are big milestones, birthdays, you know. But like how we like to get this podcast started, I just like asking like, who is Johnny Fades, man? Like, what's your origin? Where do you, how do you, where do you start?
The origin story. Yeah, yeah. I remember I actually, that's one of those moments in my life where I kind of like made a choice to kind of take on a persona,
Mm,
create like a stage name of sorts,
yeah,
like I was born Jonathan Israel Guzman Ramirez, son of Imelda Guzman and Jesus Guzman in Chicago, Illinois, down the street. I
yeah.
lived all over these neighborhoods. I used to go to the Shepherd Church. I learned to swim at the pool at Petrosky Park.
Oh, nice.
So like I this is like home for me, Chicago, Illinois. Johnny Fades happened because after I graduated college, I was about to get a job as a union rep for the medical union. I can't remember off the top of my head what the acronym is, but right like a couple of days before my interview, I got hit with a DUI at a checkpoint in Berwyn,
Oh,
Illinois,
shit.
um, because my car smelled like weed.
Oh, okay.
It
Damn.
wasn't even an alcohol-related DUI. There was no reckless driving. It was just a checkpoint where they told me to put my window down and we smelled weed.
And they just were like, that's enough.
And yeah, they took me in, and it was such a big deal. Like just off the bat to get the car out, it was like a $700 expense just the next day in the morning. Maybe I'm exaggerating. I think it was going to be four. It would have been 600 if I didn't get it at a certain point. It would have
Yeah,
been
because I
four.
think each day increases too and everything, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like I remember being disqualified because I needed an active driver's license in order to be able to be a union rep because I needed to go to hospitals all over the
No,
place.
okay. And obviously, yeah, with the DOI, like that kind of just cancels it out.
Yeah, so then at that point, I was already a veteran barber. I had already been cutting hair all through college and like my later years of high school because we're we grew up just kind of being having having to take care of our own needs in a sense. Like we didn't have money for barbers, and so we had clippers. So we were cutting each other's hair. So by the time I was a junior in high school, I already had like 6, 7 clients that
Mm.
regularly coming to my basement to get haircuts. I was already a veteran barber when this DUI happened after I had already graduated, my bachelor's. And so I remember just deciding to take the barber serious. Like,
Yeah,
you know what, I'm going to become the best barber, the most professional barber. And this was like around the time when social media was beginning to take like flight. Like I remember being like one of the first people to upload videos on YouTube. I was like doing stuff on Instagram early on, just because like we were internet savvy, and
Yeah.
so yeah,
You need to get your name out there, right? Like, yeah.
and it really solidified when I came to Pilsen in like 2012, 2013.
Um, I should have no days. Oh shit, it fell again. Fuck it. We were trying to get that going earlier. It kept falling, but I would want to know if people know when I'm looking fly as hell with the fresh haircut, it's thanks to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people tell me like I get lined up perfectly and everything. I'm like, yeah, man, that's Johnny right there, Jonny Fadez. And so you started in Pilsen in 2013, right?
Yeah, I was married then, and me and my then wife, were really kind of like enamored with the first like way, one of the well, first way for us of like the whole like Pilsen and Fiesta del Sol,
Mm.
kind of like the artsy neighborhood, the culture neighborhood, because we were both I'm from Cicero at the time.
Yeah.
Even though I did live in the neighborhood, like out here in Little Village, and I could go back to the yards, and ultimately I went to high school in Cicero. I went to Morton East, class of 2004, and she lived in Stickney, and we were West Suburbs
Yeah.
kids in that way, where Little Village was just coming to see relatives here and there, and coming to church sometimes. So me and her never lived in Pilsen, had nothing, no history in Pilsen, but we were just enamored with the neighborhood, and we decided to buy there, and I decided to look for a chair in Pilsen, and that's how I ended up at what was then Rockstar Barbershop and Ink, which was like one of the only barbershops slash tattoo parlors
Yeah.
in the country
Where was that at?
on 18th and International, where we at now.
Oh, okay, okay.
But at that time, there used to be a tattoo artist there, Steamer. Shout out to my boy Steamer, right? Like, homie still.
Yeah, shut up. So, oh, nice. Yeah, because it's funny because for a lot of time, like just a quick sign note, my mom used to just cut my hair, and it was one of those. I was like, all right, cool. Like I was okay with it. So, we baptized my niece, and that's when I'm like, you know what? I gotta look the best I can look, And how you go to same with social media, like that's how I found it. I just found like barbers in like Little Village in Pilsen, and you came up, and then that's I was like, and I don't know. At that time, you were also like showing some of the vinyls you had that you sell.
Yeah, that was during the Del Pueblo Barbers and Records
Yeah,
moment. Yeah,
yeah. So I was like, this sounds good for me. Like I let me go here. And originally I thought like, you know what, I'm probably gonna do this haircut and just go back to like my mom cutting my hair. But you did such a killer job. I'm like, I'm coming back.
that's what's up, man. Thank you.
Like, yeah, because I didn't realize how like unfamiliar I was with the etiquette of being going to a barber shop. That I was like, I remember just the first time being like, you should talk to him. Like you should. I think I was just very oddly quiet.
You're a little shy.
Yeah, just because I was like, I don't know. And then especially like since I didn't know like how to ask for a haircut, I just got used to like just take it all off. And now it's just one of those like you would ask me things. I'm like, yeah, like this, and I was like, I don't know what to say. And I just be like, yeah, and like, all right,
Yeah, it's funny, man. I remember actually when you came to the shop, it was on Albany in Cermak, that
mm,
Pueblo Barbers and Records. Um, and I remember, yeah, you definitely kind of, came in like you've never been in a barber shop before. I always ask, do you want to comb your hair or not? Like, just simple questions. Funny thing is, my mom also used to cut my hair, and that's how I actually started cutting my own hair because I would beat my mom to the punch.
yeah,
Because
okay,
she would just do some random ass haircuts on me.
yeah. My mom, because my aunt cuts hair. So when my aunt lived with her, she would cut it, but she would watch my aunt cut the hair and learn just off viewing, and then just after a while, be like, yeah, this 20-minute haircut your aunt does, I'm gonna do it in an hour, but I'm gonna get better at it as we go, and that's how we kind of just got to the point where, yeah,
That's how my mom used to do it. Like randomly, like she would like for big deals. Like I remember for my first communion, she took me to the shop where she would get her hair done, and I remember getting a flat top.
oh really?
And yeah, I remember my first communion pictures are with a flat top, and that's when I still had hair.
Yeah,
And I remember my mom would do, yeah, she like also went to school. I remember when we lived in Mexico. but she was just like, she would cut her siblings' hair, my dad's hair.
Yeah. You come from a big family?
Oh yeah, bro.
Yeah. A lot of siblings or just kind of cousins
Well,
or
siblings, I got my sister Mari, shout out Mari Cruz, my brother Ariel,
shout out
who,
family?
who are both younger than me. Um, and my mom and dad, I already made them earlier. And I got hella cousins, hella aunts and uncles. Mexican people, we stay close. So I got like, actually one of the uncles that I am like closer to or I see more frequently is actually one of my mom's cousins, Uncle Tony from back of the yards, from Racine over there. And, he was a teenager when I was a baby and him and his girlfriend used to take me out. And
Yeah.
so like I got a lot of love for them. Um, a lot of my family moved to Oklahoma.
Okay.
My mom's family, a couple of my dad's brothers still live in the neighborhood. Actually, I just was walking down Ashland yesterday. I saw my cousin Lupe and my tia Chelly driving down Ashland. They said, "What's up?" So, like, like I got a big family. I just came back from a family reunion. That's why
Yeah.
I'm on
Yeah.
10. Me and my daughter went down to Quintana Roo, Cancun.
I
Look
was,
at these videos to Quintana Roo, Cancun, and we we were Americans in Mexico for the first time. We actually went to a resort,
how was it?
bro. I've never been called a señor more in my life. When I señor
Yeah.
this, sí señor, gracias señor,
Was
pase
it
usted señor. Like you're saying,
a las órdenes and all that? Like I always get taken back when like people are very respectful. I'm like, oh no. Part of me wants to be like, no, it's okay.
you
Like
don't need to talk to me
yeah,
with respect.
like
That's
and then
funny.
they just spit on me. Like I was like, all right, cool. That's what I'm used to. Nah,
That's funny.
but the times you because I from what I know you've gone to Mexico a lot, and one of the times you went to was also for like the poetry you read, right, for spoken word stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like last year, November, or I think it was November. It was right before
yeah,
this. Yeah. Um, I had one. So there's this circuit. It's called Slam Nacional. It's in Mexico. And this girl, like 5 years ago, Krista, shout out to my girl Krista. She's like American and Mexican, like her dad's white and her mom's Mexican. She went to university in Milan and Universidad Autónoma de Mexico,
yeah,
and she got involved in the Mexican spoken word slams. And like when she moved to Chicago, she actually started one here called Slam Diaspora. I hit them up on Instagram, and it's basically a Spanish language poetry slam. And we basically represent the U.S. So like we get people from all over the country, including Puerto Rico and like all over the
yeah.
states, to participate in this slam. And the winner gets to rep the United States in Mexico.
Nice.
And that's what I did that year. Even though I didn't win last year, I had already won like 2023 or 24. I can't remember. But I didn't go to Mexico. And the person who won last year couldn't make it. They had some complications. So they like went down the line of people who could potentially go, and thank God that I have the privilege. I wasn't necessarily the best option,
Yeah,
because there's hella badass Spanish language writers here in Chicago that
yeah,
get me rapping just as hard. I was just privileged enough to be able to go, set up passport and all that good stuff, which I had to like expedite, this.
yeah,
I got last place because I was unprepared as well. So the last minute, I didn't actually prep anything hard. And also, I came to realize that as much as we speak Spanish, like unless we like are in an environment where like we have to be professional, like in a workplace environment or like an academic place, like we really don't speak Spanish.
yeah. It's like a
Mm.
very. I think what you mean in a sense like I know I for a fact speak very like broken Spanish. Like the way I like if when I have to be professional in other places, I'm struggling because it's like I don't know how to say this the correct way, and especially in the sense when you speak Spanish with people from like other origins of Spanish or something, where it's like I don't know if this means the same to you, but I just know how this says to me, like like an ironing board. I didn't like. I figured they're always called burros,
Hmm.
you know. But apparently, there's the other people call them, and I'm like, I didn't know that. I just know it as a burro.
Yeah, that's how I know it's a burro, and that's like regionalism, and that's another cool thing. So like the slam was in Villahermosa, Tabasco, which is southern Mexico, which is down by like Chiapas and Quintana Roo, and so like they have a whole different way of speaking down there. And like there was this one poet, Tacuache, I can't remember his name. Shout out to him too. Later we could add his little link on
Yeah,
Instagram,
yeah,
but he did this like spoken word where he just sounded like a mad old dude,
yeah.
like just kind of passionately, like just letting it go. And I understood a lot of what he said, but I also did not have a fucking clue what he was really
Yeah.
saying.
You got the
Um,
theme, but you didn't get like the whole collective. Yeah,
right. And so like, and then because it was the nationals, there was people from northern Mexico, from Mexico City, from other parts of Mexico that were there for that event. So I ended up becoming real cool with the homies from Sonora, with esta Silvia and este all the homies there que vinieron de Sonora, that they really vibed with me because Sonora's a border state with Arizona and California over there.
mm,
So they're more used to the pocho, the Mexican American way of like,
yeah.
no sabo kids. They're more familiar with that. So I ended up picking it with them, having a good time with them. Um, but yeah, I've been called a pocho so much. Mhm.
What's a pocho? Or
A pocho is like somewhat of a derogatory term that Mexican people use to describe like Mexican Americans who aren't uh,
that
capable.
Mexican? Or
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Like the no sabo kids would be,
Mm,
a pocho, a coconut would be a pocho. Like, but in many ways, like a lot of us, I think, have also taken that word pocho and kind of like owned up to it.
yeah,
Like I don't care, bro. Put cheese in my tacos, dog.
yeah,
Like I don't give a fuck.
yeah.
Like why
Nah,
the hell
fuck
not?
it. Yeah. How are you gonna tell me different? You know?
Hmm.
But let me ask you this because I'm curious about it. How is like what is the criteria for like judging spoken word? Like, is there a certain thing they go by, or is it kind of
Yeah, so it's like it's a very intimate moment, like when we have a slams, because like for instance, like sometimes there are like, oh, as like a judge that is invited, like someone like an established writer, someone who's already won in the past. Like I've been a judge. I think I was a judge for one, like two slams ago.
Mhm.
Excuse me. And so like, but for the most part, they just grab random people from the crowd who don't know anyone that's competing.
Okay,
And they have to obviously be fluent in Spanish, enough to be able to understand. We get judged here in the States. I think it's got to be like 75% Spanish.
okay,
So like we get to use Spanglish and we get to use, like English or UP. But like it's got to meet 75% Spanish, and it's got to be under 3 minutes.
okay.
So you could do a couple of poems, you could do one poem. And then, yeah, like, so it really, like sometimes I have problems with it because, like, I feel like, um, it's really more like content based. Like, of course, the delivery, the, the performance part of it. Like, are you aggressive? Are you passionate? Like,
Yeah,
are you just sitting there and kind of like nobody really hears you? The delivery part of it has a lot to do with it, but the content of it sometimes too, like whatever currently is tickling people, whatever
yeah. Like
people are, passionate about at the moment, touching on those subjects. And so like sometimes I feel like it can be biased, uh, and there is no literary like analysis going on. Like you're not using these tools and iteration and whatever. And like
it's kind
five,
of just real free form, kind
yeah,
of not to like kind of just rants, kind of,
yeah.
but like and then it kind of based on like which one was more passionate and stuff like that.
And like even like one of the things I realized, because like we from Chicago, and I tell people like I come from like the school of hip hop. Like I did not like. I understand how, like, for instance, in Latin America, we have coplas, which is a form of battling that is very popular and like all over Latin America, Venezuela, Ecuador, Mexico. There's examples of it in movies where like people are going back and forth improvising. They do it in salsa. So like, the word crafts, the wordsmiths,
Yeah,
that is universal. It's not isolated to any language. But I come from the school of Chicago, where like I was like loving Common and Kanye's Homecoming. Common's, I used to love her. Kick Push by Lupe
Lupe. Yeah,
Fiasco, like these like love stories where you're personifying and whatever. So like I wrote this song Rosie Rosita about the pink line, but it really was like, oh, it's about a girl. But no, like so that's the school I come from. I'm not trying to be pissed off and aggressive. I'm
yeah,
smooth flowetry over here.
yeah,
So I go to Mexico and these motherfuckers are rolling on the floor. They're like crying on stage, and I'm
yeah.
like, oh man, I'm way out of my league. Like this is not,
Yeah, I think it kind of goes in the sense like I got some great writing coming up, but you're not gonna get that over performance out of me because the writing's really gonna show. You know? Because I've seen like when you post on your story, which by the way, you want to throw your Instagram out?
Yeah. Johnny rocks the phase, JONNYROCKSFADEZ as in zebra, then rocks the
Yeah.
phase.
But yeah, follow him. See all his great work with the barbershop. Sometimes you'll post some of your stuff that you write, and sometimes you'll be selling vinyls too, right? I think you're trying to get back into that. But yeah, when I read some of the stuff you write, it's good. It's deep. Like I can see that you're a good writer. And even at times where I think what was it, one of Jason Isaac's shows, you had written some stuff because you were thinking about maybe going up, and
Hmm.
even the jokes that you had are like were funny, and they had this kind of like deep thought to it that I'm like, you see, like that's good writing too.
Yeah.
Like
Like I might get silence out of you, but yeah, no, I have a hard
yeah,
time with comedy.
yeah. I feel like, and that's surprising because like the what you had showed me, I'm like, this is good. Like this is good, and then I'm not sure if you were kind of like already sitting on those, but I feel like it's one of those like if you worked on this, like it'd be something. You just got to find the beats and everything, you know.
I had a really good open mic one time at what is it called over there at Output and Wrigley.
Trigger warning.
At Trigger Warning, I had one really good show at Trigger Warning. Like I got my 5 minutes and I had everyone rolling. But I was also like very much like in the perfect zone of drunk. And I had already, because at that moment I was really working and I was going to at least 2 minutes a week. And I had developed something and I wish I would have recorded it. But I feel like a lot of it is like the flow of it. Like it really does have to sound like conversation. It really does have to be natural. And yeah, I mean, like I hit the zone. That was the only time I hit the zone.
Yeah, but yeah, like I think you got phenomenal right. That I can fully double down and and yeah, and then also like how you're saying, I think you do have like a you indulge in a lot of like artistic outputs, right? Like, because you also have participated in that writing workshop, right?
Yeah, we've hosted workshops, open mics, like the one
Hmm.
that you went to. We've had open tables. Like the barbershop where I work at, also, we double as like an art space, creative space, event space. So like we've hosted a few events. The Ponte Tus Moños, shout out to Dolly, shout out to the shop, 18 Barber Company. And yeah, like we're always making space for DJs, for musicians,
Yeah.
for artists to throw their stuff on the wall. Like, yeah.
No, and it's yeah, it's awesome to see because it's to have that space available for people that want to try out. Because as I said on before, like my first open mic was kind of the one you had hosted, and I know that helped me just find even figure out see if I wanted to do this because as like I've told a lot of people or kind of they've heard of this already. I had 5 minutes that I wrote out in over the course of 7 years, So I always had the idea that I wanted to try this. And I always thought like this whole world was like the open mic world was hidden. I'm like, oh, like I don't know where they're at. They probably have them like every 2, 3 months or something. And when you guys mentioned yours, I was like, you know what? This is the window to see if I want to try it. And I did. I remember those 5 minutes I wrote. I did in like 2 minutes, just out of the nerves.
Yeah,
And but I was like, you know what? Let's give it a try. You
and bro,
know?
you did great. I remember that day. I remember that day, and you did great. I was very impressed. And like I did notice, like you were definitely like nervous, and you did. I felt like you had more, but you also just kind of like, okay, I guess this is it.
Yeah.
And I was impressed, and I mean, it didn't surprise me when I saw that you actually pursued it further because you were there. So,
Yeah.
I mean, and if for it being your first time, like you showed hella potential, we're proud of you, and they're happy that I
Thank
had
you.
something to
Thank
do
you.
with that.
No,
Um,
you did. Like I think like it means a lot. Like it's one of those just opportunity to just be like, hey, look, here's a space for this. Is it something you want to try? Is it something that is for you? Because even I'm a big believer in like just knowing. Like even had I gone and done terribly, at least I would have walked away with like, hey, at least now you know. Like you know that this isn't for you, or hey, now you know where your base is, and then go from there to keep working. But I like to believe I think that was like the first day you actually met me, because I feel like that's when I finally kind of really
you came
came
out and
out,
showed me.
yeah, just to be like, oh hey, like these are the things I'm thinking about.
That's what's up, bro. Hell yeah, man. And I think that's beautiful because like we all have like grooming. And
Yeah,
that was one of the things you groomed, that you're grooming over and over and over.
yeah.
And it's not gonna be the last time.
It feels like that Paul Rudd meme where it's like, look at us. Who would have thought? I didn't like when he's doing the hot wings change, but the hot wings challenge. You
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
that, yeah. But no, it's awesome to see, and it's awesome that I was able to kind of go through that and just figure, like, I took a like I think 2 year break after that because I still didn't think things were so like as available. But yeah, it was a good point to be like, hey, you know what? You did okay, and there's something you want to do next time. Just know that you got to just put in the work.
100. Yeah, and I definitely like when like I showed you that comedy, like that's what I had written. Like that's really one of my problems with creativity is that I feel like I'm very much like a natural like creative where I believe that there's a moment in time, there's a song, and there's like a ritual, but like an actual like formula or procedure that like is expected. Like I hardly ever follow any of those
Mm,
methods, and somehow, some way, like I managed to have the stage and get
yeah,
the spotlight over and over and over, different ways. Um, yeah, definitely
yeah.
put in the work. Yeah, for
No,
sure.
yeah, and I feel like you always put in the work, and it shows. Like even just with the writing that I seen, and just the fact that, and I think that's one of those like that's how you know it's good, because how you said, if it was bad, I don't think the universe would give you so many times to be on the spotlight. I think you'd probably find ways to be like, you know what, let's keep them over here. Like, and another thing I want to talk to you about, just because I just from going, when I go to the shop, like you have such a immersive knowledge of music. Like I think the times I go and your charges of music, I'm like, I haven't heard any of these songs, and now I'm upset that I don't know who these people are. Like I've never even knew the scope of music existed. How did you kind of like start that kind of journey to kind of like that side of the music, or
I have to credit. I talked a lot about my mom's family because that's kind of like what I'm closer to right now. But like early on in my like early childhood, I spent hella time with my dad's family and my dad's siblings. Like my grandma and her sisters used to sing, and all my uncles were heavy media collectors.
mm,
So I'm talking about hella VHSs, hella tapes. It was like late 80s, early 90s. So like records wasn't what they were about. They were about tapes and VHSs
Mm.
and hella books everywhere. So like very early on in my life, I became like somewhat of a cultured person in when it comes to music. Like I had like access to only Spanish media, Telemundo, Univision, La Qué Buena, or even before that,
La
Wojo,
Ley.
Wojo 105.1, and
Yeah.
you talk about Channel 26 used to be Univision, and it was only after 3 p.m. I go way back to like the 80s and 90s of Chicago. So like the media that was out here, we were listening to Tejano music, Rupero, Norteña. I was nothing but cantina, tacky, Mexican, regional stuff. But then like, on my dad's relatives, they were listening to things like Los Angeles Negros, Los Iracundos, like Juan Manuel Serrat, Jose Jose, like the Bougie, Papi, Luis Miguel,
Yeah, yeah.
like they were very much exposed to a lot of other forms of Latin music. And they had a collection. Man, what I admire all they have. Like I honestly like every time I go to their house, they have the little walls are full of records and movies and DVDs and VHSs and so like I just came into an environment where like top 40 wasn't the only we
Stuff you were kind of
that
exposed
we
to.
were yeah we were listening to everything. And you know I love jazz, I
Yeah.
love world music, bossa nova, all the forms of Caribbean music.
Yeah.
Time period wise, like I sit there for days like just going down rabbit holes of music. So yeah, at the end of the day, like the playlists that I curate are probably things that you haven't heard before, things that you don't know you love, things that you're gonna Shazam or whatever you search.
No, yeah. There's times like when I'm on a chair, I'm like, I gotta see if I can Shazam this real quick because I'm like, I know I want to come back to it later. And but even then, not even just to the music that like, the songs or of the artist. Sometimes you hit me with the history of like the artists themselves. And I think there was one, I forget the name of it, but it was like I think it was like something Sunshine or like something in the Sunshine. It was a band, and you had him playing, and you were telling me like, yeah, like this artist, he was I forget the example, but I just know you were like, he was him before he was like basically like he was Jose before Jose. And he started telling me all this stuff, and I was like, dude, like how do you know? Because I'm still, as much as you know that stuff, I would imagine you're still kind of familiar with the like top 40 stuff. You might not dive into it, but you kind of just know what's going on with it, right?
Yeah. So like top 40 music. Now my daughter keeps me current with that because when I'm in the car with her, she wants to play whatever she wants. And it's cool, man. I fuck with it. It's nice. I don't have a problem with it. That other stuff really is like I'm an early like I got into the internet when I was like 16 years old. I learned how to use search engines, LimeWire, and illegal fucking download sites.
Yeah.
I was coding when I had no idea that I was coding when I was in my teens. I remember getting into forums and different boards where like one in specific was called brownpride.com, which was like an early form of social media where you would create an account and there would be different forums with different subjects. And in those forums, like one of them would be music, right? And then they would offer you a list of Mexican American recording artists unsigned, independent. Like this was before YouTube, so then like you would either have to search them online and listen to their music through their website.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
or risk it by downloading it on LimeWire.
searching them on
And if
LimeWire.
yeah,
So like I remember, and then because I don't know if people know this, but YouTube. is actually it came out of U of I. It's a Midwest thing.
I don't know.
Yeah, so like I was on YouTube, man, bro. Like I was maybe like 2005, six.
Yeah,
Like I remember being on YouTube and watching the weirdest videos because everything was user uploaded. And I remember being like one of the first 300,
yeah,
first 200 viewers, like when YouTube was a very primitive page. But one of the things that YouTube first started doing was people who had extensive collections of music
yeah,
would upload
mm,
their collections.
yeah,
So like independent artists that recorded and released regional records in Mexico or whatever in such and such time period. So then YouTube became one of like the uh Pandora's box of
yeah.
like just random
Here's
independent
all of
music.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh shit.
And before Pandora, before Spotify, before it was like YouTube music, like not even YouTube music, just people would literally either have videos of their records playing
Yeah,
or just like a picture of the CD cover and the song list. So that was how I just began to like learn, and
yeah,
now it's what's how do you call it? We have access to all the information ever created.
yeah. It's just
Every,
there, like, and you know what? I think that's something I would want to get your opinion on because, like, I think it's ironic how like this is how like internet wise this is the most knowledge and connected we should be, but I feel like the opposite has happened. And I don't really remember like my evolution with the internet, but like since you were kind of like first, how you mentioned it now, like you were kind of the first people with YouTube. How do you feel like the internet has kind of really changed from when you were first on it to now?
um, when in the early 2000s, like you needed to be intelligent to use the
Yeah,
internet. Like you needed to understand the way that computers work. They weren't user friendly. Nothing was user friendly. Everything was like precise and like I worked for the Catholic Charities one time, and I gave basic computer skills courses to a lot of tias and manos and old dudes who wanted to learn how to use computers. So like I realized that to be on the internet in the 2000s, one, you had to be privileged enough to have a home computer that you could sit on for hours, and you didn't have to go to a fucking cyber cafes or whatever. And I was privileged enough to have a desktop when I was 16, and I became, I don't know, dude, I feel like the world just became available to me right there. Everything from porn to
yeah,
illegal music downloads to just like making potential friends with people I'll never see. I made pen pals,
yeah.
now like you can call anyone anywhere in the world at any moment. You have
Isn't that
e-
crazy? Like,
you have everything. Like if you have a phone in your hand, you literally have a Jeep. Like you have what Aladdin had.
yeah,
And like most people just use it for the dumbest reasons. They social media or like self-indulgence, just
porn.
porn,
Yeah,
maps, like, ways for you to like just no longer use your memory, your intelligence. And then like my niece and my daughter, I'm sorry, my nephew and my daughter, they're hanging out in the living room and they're not talking to each other. And some old person's like, oh, look at them. They're just brain fried into into their tablets.
hmm,
Turns out the whole time they're playing with each other on Roblox.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
they actually are interacting.
yeah,
So it's like I feel like it's definitely challenging the way that we socialize. I think that people are more scared than they actually should be. I think that whatever the result is beyond our comprehension, and you have no control over it. They do, the young ones do. And just like, it's crazy, but like, just like some of my cousins don't speak Spanish and they can't talk to my grandma, some of you motherfuckers out here fighting and resisting the evolution of humanity probably won't be able to communicate with your grandkids because it's gonna be through a phone, through a tablet, through a
Yeah.
fucking them
The
glasses, meta
headsets, yeah,
glasses. Like bro, like we don't know, man. They used to tell us we weren't gonna have a calculator in our pocket. We never thought you
for
were
real.
gonna have a fucking one of the best cameras in ever made in human history just sitting in your pocket and you're sitting there taking selfies with dick pics alone.
Yeah,
Like, bro, we had everything,
yeah.
you
Because
know?
it's crazy. Like I remember my mom having to buy those what's it called phone call cards to
Yes.
scratch and call Mexico, and then it's like they bet you want to talk to your grandma, and then all over here is like tienes 3 minutos, and then I was like, oh, I better talk to her quick because I know she's gonna want to talk. There's so many other people she wants to talk to. Who now it's just like, oh, we could video chat on WhatsApp,
Hmm.
and it's like, yeah, like to really no extra cost. Like you had to buy those cards. Now it's just like just sign up and you have access to communicate with people in Mexico, but no extra cost to them either, just other than internet. Like
Just having access to the internet. Yeah, like everything was crazy, or like having streaming, like being able to pause, being able to pay for no commercials, like so many things, or like instant gratification. Like, oh my God, like our attention spans have dwindled. Like we used to sit there and an introduction to a movie would have been a solid 12 minutes. And then the movie's gonna start with some scenic views and some random fucking artistic shots before anything starts being
yeah,
spoken. Bro, like there's no kid under 10 that is gonna sit there through the introduction of fucking
The Lion King, even like the Lion King.
you know what I'm saying?
The Lion
Like
King is one of my favorite movies, but that intro is like it's long. It's one of those like it's you see all the animals coming together, and you're just like, hey, we got to speed this up. I don't know where Simba's at, but he's got to get up on screen now.
yeah.
But I mean, I'll be honest with you. I was kind of at the fault of like, man, we got to tone down with the internet, but like, or just even tech in exact. Because even the example you brought up now with like your nephew and daughter playing like Roblox, like that's what my niece is getting into now, and I do have those moments where I'm like, oh, come on, like you could do something else. But then I see what she's doing on Roblox, kind of just playing with her cousin and like kind of just building these worlds and stuff and having communicating. I'm like, hey, like I didn't have that then, like some might say like, oh, it was Legos, but even then, I wasn't building something like they're trying to build. You know?
Yeah, I remember having like a lot of screen time when I was a shorty too. Like honestly, like as soon as we would come home from school, we'd be watching. The only thing is we didn't get to choose what we watched. Like
Yeah.
it was Home Alone. I'm sorry, it was Home Improvement or Full House or The Simpsons or
Seinfeld.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
whatever was on, La Novela, whatever, Don Francisco, whatever was on. That's what we were watching. La película del sábado, the Cari Center, whatever.
Yeah.
And like now, like no wonder my daughter, she's like, you know what, I'm not gonna sit here and do this with you because my tablet has what I want, what I need.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, we fight with her. Like honestly, like right now it's like, yeah, baby, we gotta do something else. And like it's also on us because I feel like I became equity. I belong to the society, bro. Like I'm okay with the fact that I'm
Yeah.
okay with being plugged in. And it's like because one, like I'm pretty certain that I'm undiagnosed, neurodivergent in some sort of way. Where like my brain is going on at 100 all the time. So the stimulation that I get from reels is it's
Yeah.
crazy, bro. I could be there for hours.
No, that's the thing. Like, and that's the because right now when you were talking about like early like days of YouTube, I remember back like when I was younger, I used to have a childhood friend, and they left us on the computer alone. And I remember we were just trying to look up just like fucked up videos.
Hmm.
And I remember he found one on YouTube was like, oh, man shoots himself on the head. And at that moment being like, I don't want to watch this. I'm 12. That's a lot of like to watch. But he clicked it. But at the end of the guy doesn't do it. He just holds like the gun in his head. talks about like the fucked up situation he put himself in, and he's like, "Oh, I basically shot myself in the head," and that was it. Now I don't know how your algorithm looks, but mine like I get a lot of accident videos.
Well, I can
And
see
yeah,
you're
oh
showing it
yeah,
in your.
yeah. And sometimes it's like, Dad, this is I should I be getting these crazy accident videos, these deadly accident on Instagram, where sometimes when people are just hanging out, someone runs in and shoots somebody, and I'm like, wow, I just came from a video of a kid. Like it's crazy how it can just go from one thing to another.
And the algorithm is really like it's really crazy. Because bro, like, have you ever thought about this? Like, do you remember like the secret movies, documentaries, or whatever? The
Uh,
Secret, The Law of Attraction.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right, like all that would always say like, oh, you have to visualize this and you have to put these thoughts and blah blah blah. And like what if like the universe is like an algorithm and like you can totally control what your algorithm is. Like you can
Yeah.
erase your memory. You can start liking specific things. Like all I get is like some motherfuckers in the jungle making a habitat like videos
Yeah.
because I've been liking those and I'm watching those. So like obviously the meth is being made. Oh, there's a thumbs up.
Oh, they fucked it up.
Um, yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, because I noticed that one every now and then I get into like certain types of reels that just kind of get feed to me, and then once I kind of fall off of them, like like power washing videos, like have you ever watching those?
oh, when they like power wash like the
Like oh
floors
yeah,
or rugs or
and
whatever.
something like that, and then because there's three that I really got in, four I guess they really got into that I'm like, well, I've been watching like and 40 minutes of this, which is a lot. One was there's like this tech company out in I think Texas that's located by like a lot of bars. So they have parking for like the tech customers, but a lot of people go and they have these signs where like, hey, you're gonna get towed if you park here. And yeah, like it's basically footage of people getting towed. And I could probably look it up on YouTube, and I would watch so many videos of just people getting towed.
That sucks.
That or even what's it called?
I like police.
Landscaping.
Oh
Uh,
yes, landscaping is
yeah.
awesome.
Or they I guess this guy he just finds like overgrown houses and stuff and just starts like fixing them and everything, cutting down the grass, and you're like, I'm just like, damn, especially the before and after, that kind of really get me, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I think I feel you for sure. What is one that I like police encounters where like the police get treated by people and then
Yeah.
the law. Um,
Have you seen that one with that girl gets pulled over for having a phone on her right hand?
oh, and she doesn't even
Yeah,
have
she
a
doesn't.
hand.
Yeah.
That's
And
funny.
then he's like, "Yeah, I saw you had your phone on your right hand," and she just goes like, shows her like, "Are
Your
you
strong
sure?"
arm. That's
And
funny.
he's like, "Oh, a hand." Like, no, 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 you said right hand. Like she keeps him on that. Like you specified right hand. So are you changing what you're saying? Like, and then the dude, it's off his
Yeah,
body
body
cam.
cam. Yeah, that's hilarious. Well, like I've been having this conversation a lot about technology and, for instance, like AI. And like, how everyone is using AI and how you can't trust what you see anymore because it could be AI. And even like the World Cup, those replay videos were AI and, you know,
Yeah,
like everything is like, and everyone is scared and they're like wasting water to keep these computers cool. And, no matter what, like, our grandparents were tripping because we were watching TV and before that, like, like you could go down in history where like someone was scared of technology and like the printing press is gonna take away the job of scribes and
yeah,
fuckery. What do you mean you invented a writing system to help you record your thoughts and memories? Like that's messed up. What about your memory? You're
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
lose your memory. And even like if you think about it, like there was once a moment where we were cavemen and somebody brought us into the cave with a fucking torch and all of a sudden we saw fucking images of bison and mammoths and people hunting. And as these motherfuckers were moving the light across the wall of the cave, bro, that was a movie, bro. That was a
Yeah.
movie in the fucking ancient times in prehistory. Like no matter what, like we were always being fucking dazed and hypnotized by some
Yeah.
sort of interface, some sort of screen, you
Yeah.
know?
And even the example with what Fire, how you said, it was probably someone was like, we shouldn't have this. We shouldn't have seen that.
Yeah.
Like, just like, yeah, and then people took more people there, and it's like, nope, I'm gonna stop you guys because what is this? Like, this is,
You messed up.
yeah,
And I imagine there was drumming going on. There was somebody singing, bro. There was
yeah,
like a performance going on as like these people who never went to the cave before
yeah,
now get to experience what probably was early entertainment, early religion, the earliest forms of manipulating thoughts and minds,
yeah,
bro. And that's actually what we're doing.
yeah,
We're doing that. You're doing that on stage. You're
yeah.
messing with people, bro.
No, yeah, it's there's some stuff I write where I'm like, I want this to be taken. I want this to take people in this direction, so I could pull them this way. Or I I'm subconsciously dropping this thought in your mind. So when I call it back later, you're gonna be like, oh, because of that, like, and you're right, like that is kind of like manipulation of like, hey, look, this is the writing and this, I'm laying things out for you, so my comedy can hit, can work. So it's like callback jokes. I'm like, hey, look, I'm joking about this. That's really only related to this. But watch when I bring it back, it's gonna hit even harder because you're gonna realize that this was after a couple jokes is related to this.
And you're messing with people's emotions. Like laughter is like to be able to be to be able to laugh is one of the it's like akin to having an orgasm, bro.
Mm.
Like it is an extreme sentiment. And if you laugh, you're going to remember forever
Yeah,
why you laugh.
yeah,
You're gonna remember the joke. You might not be able to repeat the joke, but you're gonna remember
yeah,
the humor and the fact that it rung a bell. And like poetry or the spoken word or like singing is it uses rhyme and the pentameter, the breaking down of the syllables in the same way. Like before reading and writing, like we learned oral history, and oral history was always passed down through some sort of song
yeah,
because you were able to remember. That's why the prayers rhyme. Like El Padre
yeah,
Nuestro, Dios te salve, all the
yeah,
prayers and the
yeah,
ancients, they all rhyme because we were illiterate. We didn't
yeah.
know how to read and write up until 100 years ago.
No, yeah, and then you're even with that, like prayers, nursery rhymes, things to kind of just get you going in the sense of like, hey, learn these syllables and stuff, because if they're just thrown at you, you're not gonna really learn them. They're just gonna be like, hey, they could be like, hey, this is A, B, and C, D with no application, but then when you get like yeah, you learn it, and even in the sense of like, you know how, especially in English, how there's words that you don't think you would read them the way you would read them where it's like, yeah, here's an example of how that's read. So when you come across it, you're like, hey, that's how it is.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of children's books have that. Yeah, hell yeah. English is like that because it has influence from so many languages. Spanish don't got that problem.
Mm.
We stay.
Yeah. And even so, there was a point I wanted to bring up, brother, because you said about because we ran out with the whole singing. You were saying how what was it, the kind of like the battling, the copa
Oh,
or
las coplas.
coplas? Dude, when I see like certain compilations of people doing like with the mariachis, like buenas noches todos, ¿cómo estamos? And then they call someone and just like roast them. I'm like, man, I would love to be able to do that.
Yeah, and they
Like,
do freestyle that
yeah,
way. I've been in presence of those ¿cómo se llama? Chingue a su madre,
yeah,
el mono del hambre, el mono del hambre.
yeah,
Vamos a bailar, el
yeah,
mono
yeah,
del
yeah,
hambre y el que no
yeah.
baile, que chingue a su madre. Yeah.
Like buenas noches todos, and then like, uh, I seen one que like las cosas como razón. y que ese como enseña su pan, something like that. And I was just like, man. And that's the thing, it's coming from the people attending. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like mariachis, obviously, they might have better experience because when they go out, they kind of get hit with it. But just to see that people just that are attending that probably have that in them, like that's awesome. Like to be able to just kind of not even be funny and improvise kind of a song, an insult to a beat or
And
to a
like in the
rhythm.
comedy roast, like you have those, but they're written, right? Like
Yeah,
you show up with a bunch of written content.
yeah.
But is there such an example of like a roast where people just randomly get paired up and you
Well,
have to freestyle in that sense?
from what I noticed right now, I think, and I was just I was a part of this, but I don't think it applies to me what I'm saying. Um, Host comedy, shout out Obi, Joey, and Hondo. It was Joey's birthday, and they have an open mic on Thursdays out in the Bourbon Street. But instead of they still had the open mic, but it was the roast of Joey. So obviously they promoted it as such and everything. So a lot of people came ready to roast them, but anyone could have gone up. But there was like 2, 3 people that was their first time there that they just knew it was happening, or they know the mic happened. They didn't know it was going to be the roast. That still went up and they did their thing and like basically like you just roasted a stranger. And I can't I can't imagine doing like because I did some roast jokes, but I prepared for like 2, 3 weeks.
Hmm.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and there was people that did well, and I'm like, you don't even know the guy, you
Yeah.
know, like you just like you're funny, you know, like and the vibe that he kind of just gave you ran out, you ran with, and it was good, you know. So I think that's be the close because I know a lot of people are kind of having like roast open my birthday open mics, where it's like, hey, it's my birthday, people come out roast me, like you know, you get your 3 to 4 minutes. And yeah, I think that's probably the closest I could have equated to that. Because and then even then, we're not like rhyming, you know?
Yeah, yeah, no, no, for sure. No, that's different. But even, yeah, I don't know, like it's kind of like a burn contest when you're like in the playground and you're
Yeah,
like, trying to just burn each other. Those were the days.
those were with your mama jokes too.
Yeah, the jokes. I came up with a few improvisations.
I think I don't really. I think I know I participated in some. I don't know if I don't remember doing well, but I know I don't know. It's weird. I remember talking a lot of shit in grade school. I don't know if it was good or.
I mean, it was fun. I remember I came up with a few on the spot, jokes, some being somewhat racist.
Yeah.
Your mom was so black that she got pulled over on a motorcycle for tinted windows.
That was good. I like that. Yeah. See, I haven't heard that. All I'm thinking about are the just like the known ones.
Yeah.
Like your mom's so fat. When she goes to the theater, she sits next to everybody. Like that's a classic. That's the one. The one. She went to the Super Bowl and took a spoon with her.
I
Like,
never heard that one.
yeah, that one. I know that one. Yeah, you know what's crazy? Yeah, they don't do it. Did you ever watch the show Your Mama?
Oh
Yeah.
yes, 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 yes. I do remember that. That was pretty funny. I mean, like it's like that baby jokes. Like no
Mm,
one really means that,
yeah.
but people get mad. I think what has happened is that the generations have upheaved.
Yeah.
Like the young ones aren't really out here trying to hurt each other's feelings that much.
No.
The way that we did when we were little
Yeah.
kids.
They're not even drinking as much.
No,
Like that's something that takes me back where it's like there's a lot of comics that I meet now that are like in their early 20s and stuff. And I'm like, you guys want another beer? And they're like, I'm all right. And I'm like,
yes, I
how are
got people.
you? Yeah, I mean that's crazy to me. Like at your guys' age, I was always down to drink, you know,
Yeah,
excessively.
I've never seen so many non-alcoholic options in the news like I have today, or like THC options, or like vegan options. I think like all around, like as a society, we're taking like major, like we're making major changes.
Yeah,
So, it's,
I mean it's good, right?
yeah, for sure.
But John, any closing thoughts?
Thank you, Ruben, for inviting me. It's a pleasure. I'm happy to see you
Yeah,
doing the comedy thing
appreciate it.
and finding a place for you to shine. We all need that. It's amazing. I'm not a comedian. I can be a comedian. I'm more of a spoken word monologue type of person. A DJ, I sang, that cut hair, my dad, and I'm happy to be here in the city, and I can't wait, to keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah. I would want before we leave just say thank you again, just because I feel like the space you provided was really did help. You know, like I feel I am still fairly new to all of this, but I feel like just that first experience kind of put me a little bit ahead than I would have not been for not that. And at the end of the day, I'll give you your flowers. You know, you're creative, and I think that's the one thing that really kind of shines up about you. And you're also like just a good person overall. So just thank you for just anything, and always keeping me looking fresh. I know just and yeah, man, go get a haircut from Johnny, man. You want to hear some good tunes and just vibe out, or even just I don't know, can't people just come hang out?
Yeah, people do all
Yeah,
the time.
yeah. So there you go.
18 Barber Company, 18th place in Ashland and close in
You know,
Chicago. Come through.
and then one last time, Johnny rocks the fades.
Johnny Rocks the Face
Yeah,
on Instagram.
it all be tagged. So yeah, people would follow you and everything. But all right, man. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you,
All
Bob.
right, guys. That was another episode of Wait What. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace.